Question I've got to ask, esteemed audience knows I have to ask. Elizabeth Law, have you ever seen a flying saucer and or a ghost?
No. And I'm sorry to tell you that I wish ghosts were real, but I don't think that they are, personally.
Flying saucers or ghosts, either one?
I don't have any idea about flying saucers. I've never really thought about it. I hope ghosts are real, but I've never had an experience with one.
Fair enough. And then I've got to ask, I make it my business to ask every publishing professional I have on here about diversity in publishing. That way I'm never picking on anyone, but I would never expect any one person to answer for all of publishing, but publishing has a poor track record with having diverse books. So what are you seeing being done to improve that? What is Holiday House doing? What are you doing?
Well, we're working hard. One of the things that I hope that will happen because of the pandemic is we're going to find a way to bring more people on staff who are more diverse. I think it's particularly hard for young editors from diverse backgrounds because the entry-level positions are terribly paying. And you have to be pretty motivated to really want to work in publishing to tough out those first 4 or 5 years. And we're really we're doing things at Holiday House. We're going to be I'm not on the diversity committee, so I wish I had come prepared with a list of the current actions that we're taking. But I know I'm speaking at one of the traditionally Black colleges. We're also getting on. We volunteered for some mentoring programs. We're really, really trying to put the word out that we want more representation and more own voices representation. We have a long way to go. Like, we love the books that we have, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. I also think with Black Lives Matter that it's opening the door for other minorities to come in as well, and that's what I would love to see. I certainly like to see a Black editor on our staff, at least one, but I'd like to also see other cultures. I read a manuscript by a woman last week who's Persian, and it's a young adult novel, and I'm hoping we can acquire that. And I'm hoping that this is the beginning of a draft for a lot of diversity. And I wish I had more concrete answers, but we're really taking it on pretty seriously because it's way past time. Way past time.
Well, I'm going to sneak in a quick follow-up question then, because you mentioned that now that there's quarantine, you're hoping that will work more folks in. Obviously, one barrier is that first 5 years where you're not making that much money, and you're in one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive cities in the world.
Yeah, it's a huge barrier. Yeah.
Obviously, you've got a great view of New York that we want to see it before we're out of here. But let's do it right now.
Okay.
While we're talking about this, I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I was a vice president at Simon & Schuster when I got this view. I thought, well, the good times will just keep rolling. Here's my book. I told you I have a lot of books.
That is beautiful.
That's some of them. That's not all of them. Okay, let's see if I can show New York out here. Let's see. You get that? Wow. Right. It's windows. I wonder if I can get the Chrysler building. Let's see. That's going to be hard, but we'll try it. I can see it if I stand in a certain corner of my bedroom. So wait. We're talking about. Were you going to
talking about people being able to work from other locations where the cost of living is maybe a little bit lower?
Yep.
And that would allow for just a greater expansion of all sorts of voices that can participate in publishing.
I'm really hoping. I think the time is now. Let's figure out how to do that. How it's got to be worth any. Let's see. See all those lights? Yeah, I really do live in Manhattan.
I have deep apartment envy. That's incredible.
I don't think I'm going to be able to show the Chrysler building, but that thing with lights on it is not the Chrysler Building. And the thing that's in the middle of your screen right now is on what's called Billionaires Row. I think you can see like 4 lights in various intervals going up it. That's the tallest residential building that's not in Saudi Arabia. It's a pencil building. It's really ugly. And apartments cost like 52 million or something, and it's all owned by Russian oligarchs as far as I can tell. So there you go. That's a little bonus.
Esteemed audience, this is one time that I know it's a podcast and you're listening, but this is one time you're going to want to tune in to YouTube and check this out. You do not want to miss this view.
Wow, thanks. It just looks like a bunch of lights. I'm not sure about that. Okay, I feel bad that we got off a much more important subject than the pretty lights of Manhattan, which is how the hell can we get better representation of the people in our country into publishing houses and into our books.
Yes.
It's a huge priority.
Obviously,
we talk about it at every meeting, and we I wish I could remember what it was I just signed up for, where I'm going to be taking questions, and trying to encourage people who are signing up to talk about how they can get into the field. And we what the other problem is? This can be really interesting. The problem is that traditionally, the format has been you come in as an assistant and then work your way up. But I think if we change that so that people come in as manuscript readers and copywriters and things where you don't have to be there to handle walking to the post office and, all the Xeroxing and stuff like that. If we can make it a more editorial training job, that might be a really good way to begin to bring more diverse people into the publishing scene.
And my last question for you is always some variation of this is almost a lazy question to catch anything that I just didn't have. I didn't think to ask during our time of things we could have covered.
Let's see. I already told people not to worry about word count. That's a very important one. This is my biggest thing. I believe this with all my heart. Well, there's 2 things I believe. I really completely believe the book is the thing. It doesn't matter who your agent is or what house you land with or who you talk to at a conference. If you've written a book that's a good story or a funny read-aloud picture book or a good nonfiction picture book biography or a topic that somebody is going to find that and understand why it's good, and they're going to publish it and it will work. The book always rises to the top. And the other thing is, this isn't as important now, but when social media was first burgeoning, shy people were being tortured because they were like, oh my God, I just want to write my book and now I have to tweet and go on Facebook and post pictures of my children. And I used to say this, I still think it's true. I would rather publish a good book by a hermit covered in oozing sores who never left his closet than a bad book by a chatty, gregarious self-promoter, because the first one will sell better. The book that's going to sell is the one that is better to read.
Why is that, you think?
Because we like to read. We're not buying a book because the author is charismatic. I mean, if you go to see the person speak, you'll buy their book. But you're only going to keep buying their books if you loved reading that first one. And you're only going to recommend the one to your friends that you liked. There's lots of little books that somebody loved and took a chance on that became popular because they were really good. And there's lots of books that publishers spend a lot of money on and position and tee up, and they never go anywhere.